The target audience for today is primarily those that are contemplating military service and or those that are considering or wanting to join the special operations community. And I'm often asked, what's the difference between these units and which one is the best? So I'm going to address that here today. First off, this is my opinion. And obviously, it's my opinion based on my experiences. All right, so that varies from person to person. Second, I'm going to speak in general terms, right? Different units have different specialized detachments that do different things, and units' functions are not limited strictly to the description of that unit. Exceptions absolutely exist. So again, this is in general, unclassified terms. Okay? First off, just to get this kind of out of the way, the term best, in my opinion, it's an ineffective and inaccurate way to look at it. Units are designed to do different things. They're tools. They're tools to solve different problems. So there's that. Next is, when it comes to what's best, what is best, there are a lot of other variables that are within the equation to relate it to fitness. I may think the deadlift is the best exercise to build strength and power. Someone else may say it's the squat. Both of us could have endless data points and case studies and research proving our point. So which one is really the best? Look at nutrition. Someone's on a low-fat diet. Someone else is on a keto diet. Someone else is eating vegan, whatever. Which one's the best? So it's really difficult to just say with any kind of certainty what is the best. What we can do, however, within this conversation, as well as in fitness, is try to determine what's best for you. So first, let's just take a look at the units that I've chosen to talk about and what they do. All right. I've actually taken some notes, right, just to make sure that this thing stays within the parameters of this conversation. So in no particular order. The Air Force Pararescue Men. These guys are near and dear to my heart. They are obviously part of the Air Force. They are known as PJs. And they are tasked with the recovery and medical treatment of personnel in humanitarian and combat environments. And their motto, which I love, is that others may live. These guys are probably the most ideal immediate medical response package. They are the EMTs of the SOF community. And while they can perform prolonged field care, they really make their money in the onset of a situation. So if you are injured, if you are wounded in combat, and you look up and there's a PJ working on you, which was the case for me, you're in good hands. Right? These guys are very, very good. The second is the Air Force Combat Control Team. These guys are also part of the Air Force. They are known as CCTs. They specialize in all aspects of air-to-ground communication, including air traffic control, fire support, including fixed and rotary wing close air support, airfield seizure, and communications in covert, forward, or austere environments. These guys they're controlling your air assets, all right? They work as attachments. So a special operations detachment will almost certainly request and likely get, mission dependent and whatnot, a combat controller or CCT to be attached to the team. These guys are, again, very good at what they do. I want to say downside, but just know going in that that detachment commander of the team that the CCT is attached to is going to want and really need that guy in his pocket most of the time. That just comes with the communications aspect of the job. And similar to PJs, because CCTs are attachments, they get a lot of specialized training built into their pipeline. And that's so they're able to integrate and work with a variety of SF or SOF teams, and then be able to be employed accordingly. U.S. Army Special Forces. These guys are part of the Army, obviously. They are known as Green Berets. Doctrinally, they specialize in unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, counterinsurgency, direct action, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, counterproliferation, security forces assistance, and information operations. There's a lot of stuff there. They are regionally aligned groups with a strong emphasis on language, cultural, and training skills. So, yeah, I'm somewhat biased, given that this is what I do. This is the organization that I am part of. But attempting to remain objective. Green Berets make their money conducting bilateral, unconventional, partnered operations. Right? We work by, with, and through indigenous personnel. Green Berets really aren't experts in much, but we are pretty good at most. Right? We're multi-tools. And given today's climate being, we have never been at a point where the loss of American life has never been as unacceptable as it is today. The demand for SF detachments is really high. And that has come with a cost. Next is the Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command, most commonly referred to as MASOC. Some history here with these guys. You got the Raiders, you got Force Recon, but MASOC was essentially reestablished into its current construct, 2006, 2007 timeframe. And they specialize in direct action, special reconnaissance, foreign internal defense, VBSS operations, which is visit, board, search, and seizure, and amphibious light infantry. These guys are still new, at least in their current construct. They don't really have a niche per se, which may be a benefit to them. Their capabilities are relatively broad, similar to Army Special Forces. They're just a lot smaller. They've got, I'd say, less than half compared to Army SF. But similar to the rest of these guys, they are very, very good. The Navy SEALs. Small unit special operation missions in maritime, jungle, urban, Arctic, mountainous, and desert environments. These guys are probably the most popular of the SOF community. Right? There's, I'm sure, countless badass images that come to mind when you think of the Navy SEALs. They are an extremely effective unit, and in my opinion, they are most effective when conducting unilateral direct action operations. Although they're not limited to that, right? They are employed otherwise. The Army Rangers, a term used since the 17th century, which is pretty cool. And essentially they are an elite airborne light infantry unit. These guys are young, extremely physically fit, highly trained, highly equipped infantry. If you want an objective completely destroyed, these guys will handle that for you, no problem. And they actually work with some of our tier 1 units frequently, which I'll get into here in a second. Tier 1 units, a phrase that's used often. The two most well-known, one being Delta, otherwise known as CAG. They are part of the Army. The other one being SEAL Team 6, also known as DevGru, and they are part of the Navy. Both fall underneath the command of JSOC. These units are tasked with specialized missions primarily involving counterterrorism, hostage rescue, direct action, special reconnaissance, often against high-value targets. These units are highly classified, and to be honest, the only way to really know is to go. That's really it. I do stand by my use of the term best. However, when it comes to the activities that these units execute, it would be extremely difficult to argue against them being at the very top. On this topic, I'm often asked, what is the best unit to join in order to prepare to go to one of these two units? More often than not, SEAL Team 6 gets their operators from SEALs, from SEAL teams. Not exclusively, but most often. So if that's the desired end state, then becoming a SEAL is probably your best bet. When it comes to Delta, most Delta operators have a background with either the Rangers or with Army SF. So again, which is the best one of those two? There's pros to both. All right, again, this is just, in my opinion, from what I've seen, talking to some of my buddies. The Rangers are a younger unit, right? To be an SF, you have to be at least 20 years old. So, holistically, Rangers are younger. Therefore, they have more longevity, which is a bonus. Second upside to the Rangers, I already talked about, is that they work with these units frequently. So in those operations and training, they become familiar with the techniques, tactics of these units, which is beneficial. The upside to being in SF prior is, I would say, the maturity of that. Again, we need to be older to be in SF, and it is a less micromanaged organization where you really need to be an independent, adaptive problem solver, which is appealing and also beneficial. Either way, it really comes down to the individual, right? Yes, experience matters, and whatever unit you're coming from is going to provide you with that experience. But what's infinitely more important is your ability to take away the lessons learned from those experiences and apply them to become better. You couple that with the individual's ability to learn, their intelligence, their physical fitness. That is what's going to matter, more so than the specific unit you are coming from. I have worked with every single one of these units up to this point in my career. And all of them have phenomenal individuals, and all of them have not so phenomenal individuals. And what I've seen is oftentimes with people getting to these units is getting to the team is the pinnacle of their career. That's the top of the mountain. Right? That's the goal. That's the end state. And when they get there, the fire burns out, or at least it isn't burning as hot. Right? They kind of go into cruise control. They've got this "I've made it" kind of mindset at that point. They lose the desire to excel. They become satisfied. this is a mistake. Yes, it's an accomplishment. Like, getting to any one of these teams is an accomplishment, and it is very rare. But that's not the end state. So I recommend looking at it like this. Getting to the team is not the mission. It's an objective. It is a necessary objective because the team is the vehicle that you will use to accomplish the mission. That mission being your desire to be a professional warrior, your desire to serve in a high capacity, your desire to make the most impact a single person can make. That's the mission. The team allows you to do that. The team makes that possible. So when you get to that team on day one, that is day one. You are just now able to begin moving towards your mission. And it's at that point that the real work begins. Regardless of what unit you are striving to join, it is more than likely that you are going to have to push yourself harder physically, mentally, emotionally than ever before. Go into that journey knowing that, and then be prepared to continue that pursuit of excellence throughout your time in service. Right? That's what's key. It's a lifestyle. And yesterday's work does not pay today's rent. I hope this helps. Feel free to continue reaching out with questions here, or my IG account, or my email, or whatever. And remember, decide, devise, and destroy. That's it.